Our next guest is the king of the middleweight division and a perfect 36-0 with 33 knockouts in his career. He will put his title on the line when he fights Daniel Jacobs at Madison Square Garden on March 18th. We can't wait. An extra bonus for you folks at home. Max Kellerman will be working that fight. And we now welcome Triple G Gennady Golovkin to the show. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Now, before we get into your upcoming fight, we want to ask you about a potential fight, I think you've heard about it, between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. So we asked our Twitter fans at home who would win. 67% say Floyd, so not a total landslide there. Gennady, how do you see that fight playing out?
Wow. It's not too much interest for this fight because it's a commercial fight. You know, it's a business fight. It's not boxing, not for just... It's very good for record, for Floyd's records.
In other words, Conor McGregor has no chance in a boxing ring, right, Triple G?
Maybe 100%.
Right. Just as Floyd would have no chance in an octagon. I want to get to your fight coming up with Danny Jacobs, who I've seen since he was a Golden Glove standout in New York coming up. He's an excellent middleweight. You have that fight at the Garden on March 18th on HBO pay-per-view. After your last fight against Kell Brook, Triple G, I've heard a lot of people say you look vulnerable. And Danny Jacobs, unlike Kell Brook, is a natural middleweight. What do you have to say to those people?
Yeah, this is true. You know, Max, every fight is different. And every fighter is different. Right now, my focus on Daniel Jacobs 100%, and I understand. Right now, I understand this is my big fight and my huge fight. You know, I like this fight. I like this situation.
Triple G, Stephen A. Smith here. Good to see you. You know, a few months ago at the Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev fight. Appreciate you, brother. Let me ask you this question. When I've seen you, others may have said they see a little bit vulnerability there. For me, I think that you took a step back because you believe people are running from you, so you actually want to look a little bit worse than you actually are, just so you're able to get people in the ring, mainly Saul Canelo Alvarez, eventually. What do you say to people about that? Is that what's been going on with you?
Wow, Stephen, this is a crazy situation. No, I remember last year. Just too much talking, you know, his team, like Golden Boy teams, is too much talking, you know, right now my focus is Daniel Jacobs, you know, it's not interest. If you want, of course, I'm ready 100%. Just every time.
I got you. Speaking of Daniel Jacobs, who's your opponent on the 18th of March, who has a belt, who had an upset first-round knockout of Kid Chocolate, who was considered your main competition at middleweight, how do you beat him, Gennady?
Yes, I remember this fight. Yeah, Daniel, he's a huge fighter, you know, he's a good boxer. And he has power, he has boxing IQ. This is a very big test for us and for me.
And how do you beat him?
I think this is boxing IQ, you know, like maybe different style. We'll have different style. Daniel, he's strong and very good fighter. Just I have a little bit extra.
Gennady, Stephen A. brings up the Canelo fight. The biggest prize in boxing is and always has been in recent years Floyd Mayweather. That's the biggest payday. He claims to be retired but may come out to fight Conor McGregor. And has said about you that you're beatable, that he could beat you. Even though at times his father has said, maybe leave Triple G alone, he's too big.
As do I. Leave Triple G alone, Floyd. Go ahead.
Right. Eventually, you're going to run into someone too big. You know, Klitschko is too big for Floyd, but maybe so are you. What do you have to say to Floyd Mayweather about ever getting him in the ring?
You know, I'm not too big, Max. You know, my 30 days before my fight, like, I was 65. You know, my training camp. Yesterday after sparring, I was 64. You know, special for Floyd, of course I won't go into 154 or 160 if you want. You know, this is a dream fight.
You would come down to his weight class to fight him. One of the issues with you, though, is you haven't been able to get a guy like Canelo Alvarez in the ring with you yet, and so you're not worth the money to a fighter like Floyd. How do you address that?
You know, there's a big difference, Floyd and Canelo. No, Floyd is Floyd. He's best pound for pound. And Canelo, he's nothing, you know. Right now, he's still 160.
Did you just say Canelo did nothing, has done nothing? Is that what you just said?
Yes, of course, because, you know, I talked with him just last year, you know. I want this fight. I need this fight. You know, too much. I'm tired for this, you know, talking too much. Last year, like,
So you're saying you don't respect Canelo because he hasn't actually gotten in the ring with you yet?
I'm not respect because, you know, like, right now, he's like a selfish, you know.
Right, I got the message. Canelo's running from you, and that's the bottom line. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. Oscar De La Hoya will have to answer that question. We'll get him back on. But let me ask you this question. Sure. Floyd is small. Kell Brook is small. Considering your knockout power, you got 33 knockouts and your 36 wins and you're undefeated. Why haven't you considered moving up and Dare I say, asking somebody like Andre Ward to move down to 168, which is a weight that obviously he's won titles at, to fight you? Why have you not thought about that?
You know, Steve, I'm not too big to 160. You know, my weight, I told you, my weight 65, just 30 days before my fight. Like 64 yesterday. And I think 160 is very good, and 154 is very good, you know, category for me. And 68 or 75, yeah, if I have big fight, like big money fight or big unification fight, of course.
I got you.
Move up for the right opportunity.
That's right.
Triple
Exactly.
G not only can handle himself in the ring, but with these two, we will see you March 18th when you put your title on the line. Looking forward to that HBO pay-per-view. Of course, you'll also see your boy, Max Kellerman. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And after the break, the multi-talented T.I. will join the show. I cannot wait for this. What happened to his Falcons in the Super Bowl? There he is. Find out coming up next here.
Why you got on the Braves hat? Why you got on the Braves hat? I see a Braves hat. I don't see...
What's up, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Stephen A.
What's up?
Smith, Max
No, it's
Kellerman.
How you doing?
We're doing this now?
No, let's do
No,
that.
okay.
I like sticking with the...
We do something different.
Yeah. We
Y'all
keep
make
we
it
keep
corny
fresh.
when y'all stall. Just do it, baby. Just do it.
We just have to work out the kinks.
All right.
And then we will.
I'm just
and then we'll be
saying,
flowing.
though.
Hey, guess what? We found somebody. T.I. Rapper T.I. will join us to face Stephen A. He went missing after the Falcons lost.
Atlanta police called me. They informed me that they had found T.I.
APB out on him?
I had an APB out on him. He was hiding for quite some time because he was trying to recover from the Atlanta Falcons blowing the Super Bowl. But we found him. We found him. And I told them they don't have to do anything to him. Just make him come on the show.
You know who
So,
else is going to be here?
Yeah.
Triple G. Heard the dude's pretty good. He's going to talk about his next fight and his pick in Mayweather-McGregor. Looking forward to that. But we start with Antonio Brown. The man got paid. Dinner is on him. The Steelers agreed to a 4-year, $68 million extension with Brown, according to our Adam Schefter, making the Facebook Live star the highest paid wide receiver based on yearly salary in the NFL of $18.5 million per year for the next 3 years. The next four highest paid wideouts are A.J. Green at $15.9 million, Julio Jones at $15.7 million, Des Bryant 15, and Demaryius Thomas 14.5. Max, does he deserve to be the highest paid wideout in the NFL?
Deserve. Deserve's got nothing to do with it, as Clint Eastwood said in Unforgiven. Deserve's got nothing to do with it. The most talented guy who's up latest, whoever's contract is up now, sets the market. Here's the thing. If we're talking about deserve based on their play, Julio Jones deserves to be the highest paid, then Antonio Brown. So you might be sitting there going, oh, okay, so Antonio Brown's overpaid. But in fact, Stephen A., as we know, in guaranteed money, Julio Jones is the highest paid. $47 million guaranteed. Antonio Brown only has $19 million guaranteed. He's the 16th highest paid in guaranteed
And
money.
that's what matters.
Wide out. So in fact, yes, he deserves to be top two, but he's not getting paid like that. The Steelers got a steal here.
I agree with you. I think he deserves a better deal. I think he deserves more, but I also think that we need to deal with reality. His behavior cost him. His behavior cost him from the standpoint that the Steelers gave every indication that while we believe in your talent and your on-field exploits, at the same time off the field, there's a level of maturity that we need you to have. And I think that if you're Antonio Brown, even though I'm happy for him because he is getting paid and he does deserve this money, and it certainly is going to be more than he was getting, and this is something that he was looking forward to, there is no question about it. At the same time, I would like everybody to take things into consideration. This is Antonio Brown the last 4 years. 110 receptions, 1,499 yards. 129 receptions, 1,698 yards. 136 receptions, 1,834 yards. 106 receptions, 1,284 yards. When you consider those numbers, and then you take into account the guaranteed dollars that Max just elocuted to our national audience, you have to step back. If you are a football player and you got a modicum of sense in that thick head of yours, you've got to step back and say, wait a minute, this brother flat out balled. And look at where he's at. 16th highest in guaranteed dollars. He probably deserves more than that. I don't think there's any question about it. The Rooney said, we'll take care of you because we appreciate your body of work. Because remember, he still had 1 year left on his deal after this season. He was going to be back next year anyway. But the point is, what they were saying is this. Even though your talents are what they are, there's a behavioral issue in our mind. Let's make sure we guard that. Let's make sure that Big Ben Roethlisberger and others are not looking at you and saying, we want him on the team, we appreciate his talents, but we're concerned about his behavior. Let's make sure our coach, Mike Tomlin, who's in competition committees as we speak right now, isn't sitting back and saying, you basically threw me under.
Our next guest is the king of the middleweight division and a perfect 36-0 with 33 knockouts in his career. He will put his title on the line when he fights Daniel Jacobs at Madison Square Garden on March 18th. We can't wait. An extra bonus for you folks at home. Max Kellerman will be working that fight. And we now welcome Triple G Gennady Golovkin to the show. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Now, before we get into your upcoming fight, we want to ask you about a potential fight, I think you've heard about it, between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. So we asked our Twitter fans at home who would win. 67% say Floyd, so not a total landslide there. Gennady, how do you see that fight playing out?
Wow. It's not too much interest for this fight because it's a commercial fight. You know, it's a business fight. It's not boxing, not for just... It's very good for record, for Floyd's records.
In other words, Conor McGregor has no chance in a boxing ring, right, Triple G?
Maybe 100%.
Right. Just as Floyd would have no chance in an octagon. I want to get to your fight coming up with Dan.